All right, good morning. September 3rd September 2nd. Wow, I'm pushing the month already. September 2nd, 2025. And we are in the Habits of Health book. I guess I should have grabbed that out. There's a section of it. 1.6, you in charge of yourself, setting up for success. All right, thanks for joining me, you guys. All right, page 122 in my book anyway. I know that they keep changing it a little bit. So in part 1.5, the bedrock of transformation, successful habit installation, we discussed the role proper habit formation plays in helping you create a sustainable transformation. Good morning, Kathy. The purpose of this segment is to align how you are going to approach this journey. Imagine if you and the world around you are working for and with you rather than against you. Although the ascent from your current reality to your desired outcome will take some effort, we want you and your world to be ready for the journey to optimal health and well-being. Have you noticed in the past when you would set out to improve your health by making better choices and you feel confident that you are making progress? You're eating healthier, started a walking program, and things are beginning to change. In fact, you're rocking it and feeling pretty good about yourself. Then one Friday afternoon, you're planning on leaving early for a long weekend out in the country, and your boss walks into your office, dumps extra work on your desk, and says he needs it right away. You stomp down to the break room, grab some coffee, and before you know it, wolf down 3 donuts. In an instant, your good intentions and hard work evaporate. You walk back to your office, lamenting your weakness. Once again, you have succumbed to temptation. Needless to say, the weekend turns from hikes and salads to generous helpings of cheese and wine with the fireside, all while feeling a little bit depressed. Why do things like this happen so often? It's simple. You came into this world with an ancient mind that's being asked to function in a modern world. In part 1.1, it's not your fault that you're struggling. We talked a lot about your 10,000-year-old design versus living in our high-tech world. The fact is that your design and your surroundings are complete mismatched. You were engineered to be a highly responsive being with rapid detection and response programming to survive in the present moment. Your ancient brain focused on immediate concerns. If you were hungry, you foraged. If the weather threatened, you would seek shelter. If a dangerous predator attacked, you ran away. Your cue, routine, reward went something like this. Hungry, eat, full. Snows, cave, warm. Tiger, run, safe, or dead. You didn't think much about your future because you didn't own much, and you were usually dead by 30. Life was about immediate gratification. Today, our world is all about delayed gratification and delayed return. It's an ability to slow down our life and take the time to respond to our surroundings rather than react immediately to a stimulus that is presented to us. We are asked to go to school, to eat healthy, to exercise, reach a healthy weight, and save money, and yet there is no immediate return. There is no instant feedback to reinforce why we should continue these behaviors. We are faced with an immediate return, brain attempting to function in a delayed return society. When your ancient brain is reacting to an unreasonable boss and an all-out emotional turmoil, it is asking too much for your ancient brain to have you rationalize any future benefits bequeathed to you. There is no instinct that will deny your overwhelming impulse to immediately devour the donuts that are set right there in front of you. I'm sorry to say it, but you never stood a chance. The last-minute drop-in by your boss is just one of the many examples of how life can get in the way when you start your journey towards better health and well-being. Even equipped with your best intentions, there will be daily threats to your progress. Be prepared. Together, we'll look at your surroundings and reinforce the things that can help you and either eliminate the pitfalls or at least have a contingency plan if elimination is not possible. By helping you be more aware of how and why you respond the way you do, we can help provide more effective assistance to learn to manage rather than fight your modern surroundings. Our goal will be to optimize your brain and your mind for modern life. We will begin by widening your perspective of how you view yourself over time. Then I will explain how you can better manage your response time to threats. And finally, we will discuss how we can create a microenvironment of health, a protective bubble to protect you from daily threats and temptations to your future health and well-being. Sidebar on the left. A famous study known as the marshmallow experiment found that children who could resist the urge to immediately eat a marshmallow went on to be more successful in life than their peers who chose to eat the marshmallow right away. Present self versus future self. Page 124. How we think about ourselves in the present moment and how we think about ourselves in the future is very different. We can look to the advances in neuroscience to explain those differences. How we think and act in the present and the relationship with our future self become better understood when a person is placed in an fMRI brain scan, a machine that measures blood flow to the specific region in the brain that is activated by thoughts or emotions. There's a particular area in the brain that has been mapped and shown to be devoted to self-reflection. When a subject is asked to think about themselves in the present tense, that precise area of the brain lights up. When they are asked to think about a stranger, non-self, the scan lights up a very different area in the brain. Here is where it gets interesting. If volunteers are asked to think about themselves in the future and how they will perceive themselves 5 years from now, there is a wide range of responses. Most of the subjects' fMRI scans light up the same area that previously became more active when they were asked to think about a stranger, and just a few activate the area that is associated with present self. It gets better. Those that see themselves more as strangers when asked to think about the future also demonstrated a different profile. When compared to those that connected well to the future, the stranger brain group were more likely to struggle with delayed gratification, more likely to have poor habits and have more difficult saving money and dealing with the challenges of modern life, such as when we are asked to delay actions to a future time. Psychologists call the phenomena temporal discounting. It explains the tendency for our ancient brain to want to value immediate reward and devalue the importance of delaying gratification for a distant future benefit. This is why it is so easy to get hooked on bad habits. It's the way your brain is wired. Immediate concerns driven by actual need or impulse fits very nicely into the immediate return brain that you were equipped with 10,000 years ago. You get instant feedback and reward with the reward, and this becomes a bad habit quite easily. But when you attempt to adopt a good habit that will give you some future benefit, but the immediate reward or feedback is weak or missing, it seems harder to do. Our brain treats time differently, especially when thinking about things in the moment versus things in the future. This observation and the supporting research gives us insight into why we behave the way we do. It also gives us a better understanding of how we can transform ourselves by bringing these two selves into closer proximity. Your present self is you in the moment, concerned with your current state, needs, choices, and immediate actions. This self is highly influenced by impulse, urges, and pleasure-seeking behaviors. Your future self is the person you plan on becoming tomorrow, next week, next year, or 5 years from now. Since there is no immediate action required, it is easy to plan our ideal behaviors. Our two selves value things very differently. Your future self says you want to lose 60 pounds, get 8 hours of sleep, and run a mile every day. It feels good to set those ambitious goals, and it's easy for your brain and your mind to see and value the benefit of those long-term rewards in the future. However, when it comes time to act on those long-term health goals, rewards, we have to choose between eating a salad or not eating the piece of cake, chocolate cake that mom baked, between going to sleep early or staying up and watching the movie you're enjoying, between putting on your running shoes and heading out, even though you have a headache and are exhausted and just feel like resting. These dilemmas are examples of you dealing with your present self. And your present self values the immediate return. It has little regard for potential long-term rewards. This really goes into that pleasure versus satisfaction kind of thing, just a deeper mindset piece of it. Sidebar. Our brains are wired for favor immediate rewards over long-term ones, which means that we have to train ourselves to think differently about the choices that we make. It's training, it's practice. That's why we don't beat ourselves up. We just keep practicing, we keep striving. Sidebar on page 126. Recognizing where you are and where you want to go helps to create structural tension, which is the catalyst for change that we have previously discussed. So building your future health and well-being. Present self, immediate gratification, to future self, long-term rewards. Let's solidify that. How can we overcome a natural tendency to discount the value of long-term health in order to help you avoid the daily temptations that are ever present in our crazy lives? Simple. We have to narrow the gap between your future self and your present self. If we tie future benefit into our present moment, we can use our habit loop to help create new behaviors. We can even make the immediate reward less attractive by adding negative aspects that will help us be less likely to repeat bad habits. We are moving future rewards and punishments for specific behaviors into the present moment. If we can design and identify immediate benefits and rewards into each of the habits of health, which we know are designed to provide long-term benefits, then we can connect your present self to your future self in more tangible ways. In essence, if we can provide short-term incentives that are consistent with our long-term goals for health and well-being, then we can help keep our ancient brain in check. There are a couple of ways we can do that. First, we can take an action that provides both immediate benefit and long-term benefit and connect them to create immediate and long-term reward, thereby turning future consequences into present consequences. We know that 20 minutes of activity provides long-term benefits in reducing the risk of disease and also allowing us to live longer. In addition, studies have shown that 20 minutes of activity have an immediate effect on boosting our mood for 12 hours. We can now connect a long-term benefit to immediate reward and establish a recipe for new healthy habit installation. This approach works equally well for eliminating an unwanted habit. We know eating a cheeseburger or fries is a habit of disease and will therefore create disease in the future. We know also that after consuming fast food, we develop a high-fat hangover that ruins how we feel and performs the rest of the day. Tying the short-term negative or present effect on us to the long-term negative effects gives us a powerful reason to discontinue a negative behavior. We can also make the long-term consequences of not doing a certain behavior more immediate by tying them into immediate pain or by creating the sense that we will pay the cost sooner if we do not perform them. As an example, let's take committing to run every morning with a friend. The morning comes, it is time to start, and the pain of disappointing your friend ties to the routine to immediate feedback. Let's also address another of the most limiting factors of our present self that prevents us from starting new habits: procrastination. We can use the same principle to get beyond the pain of procrastination and into action. We all procrastinate, and we know that the shame, guilt, and anxiety of putting off the action is more painful than the actual energy and effort required to do the action. We can overcome this by taking the many things we love to do all the time and combining them with actions that we would rather not do, but which have long-term future benefits. It's called temptation bundling. You connect things you love to do with things you have a tendency not to do that are important for your health and well-being. You can watch your favorite TV show only while you are working out, or listen to an audiobook only for the duration you are on the exercise machine. Or you decide that you can only go to your favorite restaurant with your family, no smartphones, as a reward for reaching a previous determined health goal. Yeah, I do personal development when I go for walks. I just automatically do that. I like to walk in place during one Zooms. Partnering those things is so powerful. Another way to connect our present and future self is through commitment devices. These are ways to predetermine our future behavior by designing the conditions. We can use predetermined meal size by purchasing portion-controlled packaged foods in advance. This then has an influence on our future action. We can have someone hide the TV remote to prevent mindless couch potato behavior. We will spend more time later in this segment on the many ways we can modify our environment to influence our present behavior and satisfy our ancient brain. We have already discussed the importance of increasing someone's ability by making it easier to move into action, despite the level of motivation on a day-to-day basis. This is important when considering ways to start future beneficial behaviors in your present state. Health behaviors do not usually have a sense of urgency because the consequences are not immediate. If we can make them easier in terms of amount of time needed and the degree of effort required, then it can help overcome the resistance and procrastination which we all have. If we can set a goal to be able to complete them in a very short period of time, maybe even less than 2 minutes, excuse me, they become very useful, especially when they're small and easily doable actions. Where have we heard that before? Those brief, easy-to-do actions are perfectly supported by our micro habits of health model. The model of small habit installation works well in your habit loops. It will work equally well as a small additional actions that support health when stacking when stacked into an existing behavior. Before moving to the next section, I think it is important that we take a moment and summarize the strategy tools and methods we have assembled to help you prepare for your journey. You now have a robust understanding and a toolkit to install your new habits, facilitate positive actions, and help you increase the intensity and duration of what your successful behaviors. It's a simple 4-step process which you will be able to use for the rest of your life to help guide you in building and maintaining the habits of health. This will allow you to command and take control of your health and well-being. We will use an example of some of the things it takes to reach a healthy weight to illustrate how it works. Let's do sidebar real quick. On the left, use temptation bundling to move you closer to change. If you find a way to make a challenging activity enjoyable, you can make installing a new habit easier and perhaps even make it fun. Okay, back over here. Step 1, structural tension. We start by picking the primary choice you're focusing on and what secondary choice support the transformation in that category. Each of the 6 macro habits, big rocks, categories have a series of primary choices that are essential for mastering that area of transformation. The second choices are the habits of health actions that support reaching the desired outcome. So structural tension, there's the current reality, he's overweight, 195 pounds, muffin top waist, 35-inch. And then there's the structural tension in between, that rubber band that's going to pull him closer. Secondary choices are portion controlled, 6 meals a day, eating breakfast every day, low glycemic carbs only, lean and green, 1 day every day, 8 glasses of waters daily. And then we've got drawing us to the desired result. Healthy weight, 175 pounds, waist, 33 inches. So step 2, set up habit loop for specific habits of health. These habit loops are normally the secondary choices which are set up in the habit loop. We find a new cue or anchor it to an already functioning behavior. We then outline the action or routine and provide an immediate reward or benefit to reinforce the installation of the behavior. Habit loop, fueling every 3 hours. So, cue, smartphone alarm. Routine, eat a portion-controlled meal. Reward, you feel full and satisfied. Many times you will only need the first 2 steps to install simple habits of health, but when needed, step 3 helps to simplify the routine, if necessary, into a micro habit, the small stones. Step 4 decides the immediate and long-term feedback or reward, and then we create the transformational cycle, which connects the immediate and long-term benefit into long-term feedback accountability tool. This will allow us to track and create a chain to make sure we have a consistency needed to install the new habit. Okay, sidebar, micro habit. At the end of the day, reflect back and identify the cues that triggered a habit of disease loop. Taking the time to recognize these moments can help you to make healthier choices the next time you face the similar situation. That's why each week I love to ask the question, what did you navigate? How did you navigate it? And how do you want to navigate it next time? Step 3, identify the micro habit to install. Once you have set up the habit loop, there may even be smaller micro habits that come out of these secondary choices to ensure the installation can occur consistently and daily. See element 3 in your life book, How Do You Create What You Want, to learn why I picked chewing slowly as a micro habit for reaching healthy weight. Micro habit routine, chewing slowly. So the micro habit of chewing each bite 5 times, plus take more time to chew consistently, turns into habit installed in over 66 days, but we have to mindfully do these things. Step 4, connect present action to immediate and long-term reward. To ensure proper habit installation, we will want to connect the daily action to immediate positive feedback at all levels. Using the habit loop with cue, routine, and reward are crucial to the sustainable transformation necessary for creating optimal health and well-being. Here, we are connecting the immediate benefits of more energy and feeling better to long-term rewards of reaching a healthy weight. So rewarding present and future. So present self, lose weight, more energy, feel better. Future self, 175 pounds, trim, figure, and optimal health. Create a transformational cycle. Oh, wow. We are so close to the end. So close to the end. Create a transformational cycle. Here's a model of how transformational cycle can be used to connect all the components of a habit installation in one approach. This is the overriding summation of the process. We have picked the habit we are installing. We have decided the cue to activate the habit or action. We're ingraining the immediate reward to reinforce and give immediate feedback in the long-term investment that is being made. In the long-term investment, we have a chain which shows the daily deposit and also overall benefit of creating the habit of health. Hey guys, I've only got a couple of pages. I'm going to keep reading. It is 8 o'clock, so if somebody needs to go, I understand, but I'm going to finish this up. So, sidebar, developing new habits takes time. Break your habit of health into smaller micro habits to make the process more manageable and more gradual. Habit of health transformational cycle. So cue, smartphone alarm, routine, eat fueling, instant reward full, long-term investment is what we're adding to that healthy weight. Now that you know how to connect your present and future self and how to develop powerful transformational habits, let's explore how to help you make the necessary adjustments so that your encounter with an insensitive boss doesn't trigger emotions that can throw you off track. Let's eliminate the comfort donut permanently. Reactive versus responsive mindset. The ability to put your mind where you want, whenever you want, for as long as you want, is one of the most powerful skills you can master in your life building process. It's an amazing skill to possess. Nothing else can even come close when it comes to being able to really take control of your life. When you can create a quiet mind, you can respond in measured fashion that whatever the world throws at you, and you choose and command the action that builds your health and well-being. You have a powerful tool and a keystone habit. So do you see how well Dr. A works with all of the stuff that Dave Blanchard teaches us? And I mean, I keep hearing this. I want to, I get to, I choose to, I will command and I will obey my own command. I will act now. It's so layered together. It's so good. I love that we have our Habit Finder Health. It is the master habit that sets up unlimited possibilities, not only for creating optimal health, but also for creating the kind of state of well-being that is currently experienced by very few people. It is truly mastering the macro habit of a healthy mind. Is it possible? It is. If you're willing to invest time, focus, and discipline, then we can transform your ability to become a dominant force in your life. Despite what many people think, how we respond to the world around us is not fixed. It is going to require you to go to the mental gym on a daily basis to learn, grow, practice, and master the critical skill of self-awareness and self-management. In a future part, we will unpack the habit of a healthy mind and explore the fascinating inner workings of your brain and mind and relationships. For now, I want to elaborate on a powerful tool which will help you want to utilize right away as you begin installing your new habits in the next part. Our brain is the most complex object in the universe, yet in many ways, its design is quite simple, particularly if we think of it in terms of what is important to reprogram it to help you on your journey to create health and well-being. In simplistic terms, we have 3 brains nestled inside your skull, each of which develop over eons, which are all designed to serve us in a very different way. The oldest, which we call the automatic or the lizard brain, takes care of our automatic functions like breathing, moving, seeing, basic instincts like hunger, thirst, and survival. It also includes the basal ganglion, or the concentrated group of neurons that aid habit formation, which you will be using to make your habits automatic. Anatomically, this area is the base of the skull, is known as the brainstem. The next area that lizard brain also doesn't decipher time. It can't tell time. It can't tell if it was 30 years ago or if it's today. I thought that was interesting. The next area that sits on top of the brainstem is called the limbic system, but it is better known as the emotional center of the Labrador brain. This region allows us to have emotions and much richer experiences. If you have ever been around a Labrador, I have 2 of my own, he says, they experience loyalty, fear, flight, fight, and a love for food and family. These primary behaviors are always fully present, ready to instantaneously react to any situation. The last area to develop is the neocortex, more specifically the prefrontal cortex. So this is the human brain, the thinking, willpower, or discipline brain. This is the area where we think about creating health and well-being and put together plans to make it reality. This is the region where we think and act on our future self. This is where Dave Blanchard talks about, oh shoot, I just lost the word. It was right there. We can think about our thoughts, which is called, we're the only critter that can actually think about our thoughts. And it is called, that word's gone. Okay, anyways. This human brain is functionally semi-independent from the lizard and the Labrador brains. That is why our experiences in life and our understanding of how the brain and mind works seems so odd. It's odd that language lies in the human brain, but emotions lie within a separate dog and lizard brain. So emotions are in an entirely different world from language. Not only that, reason lives in the new human brain, while emotions live in the older brains. The lizard and dog brains are running their emotional reactive programs, while the human brain is running its thinking programs. They don't have too much to do with each other. The older brains cannot speak and act. They can only feel and act. And because the information comes up through the lower area before it hits the higher area where we think, and our thinking brain lives, we need to have a tool to help us take back control of our actions so we can develop the new automated healthy habits so we so desperately desire. If we don't, we will continue to grab the donuts every time the neural tripwire in our limbic brain, the amygdala, is activated by our boss. Your thinking brain will just be left to lament about what the heck just happened. And then he has a picture of the 3 brains. Stop, challenge, and choose. When we are not self-aware and something happens, stimulus enters the brain stem and travels up the Labrador brain. Your lower brain elicits emotions that create an immediate action without consulting your thinking brain. This was imperative 10,000 years ago to respond immediately to avoid a threat or act on another survival need. This explains our impulsive nature and why we often get in trouble by doing or saying something without thinking about it. The following illustration demonstrates that the emotional brain hijacks the stimulus and your thinking brain never has a chance to exert its influence and help make a decision which might better serve you in modern world. Without awareness, you remain a slave to the ancient brain that thinks only about immediate needs. And it's got stimulus response, and it shows you right here. Oftentimes we go right through the natural reaction when we start and we move to the emotional. And some people are like, but I just felt like it, so I did it. And I'm like, well, you haven't moved it clear up here to where you actually thought about it. That's where we get caught. There is a sidebar that I'd like to read on the last page. This is an oversimplification of how the brain is integrated and is multiple connections, but it demonstrates which brain is in charge of what this will allow us to help control our impulsivity. The lizard brain evolved first. It is very small and just controls the basics. Then came the Labrador brain, limbic system, which grew on top of the lizard brain, which controls the basic functions and adds emotions. Finally, the human brain, the prefrontal cortex, the neocortex, emerged with it all the sophistication which goes with language. It is necessary to make us aware to a conscious level of healthy choices until our behaviors are automated through the habits of health. Our discipline and willpower reside here. With that brief introduction to the brain, let's now describe how we can awaken your thinking brain and tame your lower brains so they do not sabotage your best intentions and throw in roadblocks on your journey towards optimal health. Since we know that the unconscious, emotional, and reactive brains will hijack our best intentions, we need to create a way that you can stop the automated stimulus response and creates a chance for you to thinking brain to make choices that support your new habits of health. That's the stop, challenge, and choose. So on the sidebar on the left, stop, challenge, and choose was so successful in the field that we developed a free ebook on the process so that more people could incorporate it into their lives. The free ebook is still available at habitsofhealth.com. And wow, guys, we still have 2 more pages. Okay, we better stop for now. So, all right, I just came back to you guys to finish this up. How do we break this stimulus response that triggers reactive behaviors and gain controls over automatic brain and subconscious mind? It is all about becoming fully aware in the moment when the stimulus or event happens and then voluntarily delaying the immediate response from being triggered by engaging our thinking brain. Self-awareness is the first key step in changing your previous programming. It will be one of the most important habits of health you will learn for daily use and continue to develop along your journey. There are many ways to work on being more aware, including a focus on your breath and the importance of a meditation. For now, I am going to give you some cues your body serves up when it's about to go prehistoric on you. These will give you ways to start breaking the stimulus response behavior instantly. It starts by becoming more aware of your body and detecting the signals coming up out of your unconsciousness to the surface. Anytime you feel that something isn't quite right, you sense your breathing change. Your heart rate increases, a lump forming in your throat, a queasiness sitting in the pit of your stomach. All signals that make you stop before saying or doing anything. In a later part of the book, we will get into much more detail of how to detect and manage your emotions. For the moment, once you have stopped the immediate response, there are some things you can do to cool off. Usually the negative feelings are generated when our ego identity are somehow threatened. It takes about 2 minutes max for the emotion to pass once you recognize it. I find if I drink a glass of water before talking or take a deep breath before acting, I can then fully engage my rational brain and decide what is the action that will still move me forward in my my relationships, and my overall well-being. If your immediate urge has been brain candy, such as sugar, chocolate, salty snacks, or another habit of disease, you can now control your subconscious mind to send out similar signals and prevent mindless eating, etc. If you think about it, your detected feeling is the cue which signals you to stop whatever you're doing. And the routine is your thinking challenge of sorting out what is going on. And the reward is you're making the right choice by choosing an action that turns to potential negative action into a positive choice, thereby giving you a sense of accomplishment. Below, we will show the ability of stop, challenge, and choose to delay the stimulus response by creating a pause and by activating the thinking brain to choose a habit of health rather than a habit of disease. And he has a full page on stop, challenge, and choose. So stop. Your mind and body are tightly linked. Physical sensations such as gut feelings are cues that signal you to immediately take over control of your current conditions. That's stop. Challenge. By getting good at stopping, you are putting yourself in a position to know how to control your response to a negative feeling or emotion. Choose. This book now is making you aware and teaching you the principal habits of health, so you will have a growing repertoire of better choices to make in every circumstance. Like all other habits installation, using stop, challenge, and choose will take practice to learn and install, but it will become automated in time. And then, of course, there's another graphic that he gives us. Engage our thinking brain, creating the gap between stimulus and response. So again, we don't want to stop at that laboratory brain. We want to move all the way up. Stimulus needs to move through all three levels up to where we can actually respond instead of react, because the first two are just reactive. The first one, lizard, is automatic. The Labrador is automatic with emotion. And the human one is when you actually think about it and make it happen. I think you will find that Stop, Challenge, and Choose a powerful tool to help you start to gain more control over your world. You will find now that you are no longer competing with the people around you, and instead you are looking within to continue to get better at being in control of your inner world. In the next part, we will move from within you and take a look at your surroundings and see how we can recruit the people, the world, the modifying the places and changing the things that touch your world. And I'll read Gina's story real quick. Long-term health is possible, but only through choosing healthy habits, one at a time. Transformation, Gina Eccles. I came to the program about 7.5 years ago. I was very, very sick and actually had 2 aneurysms requiring brain surgery. I came out of that alive and knew that I needed to do something different for my health. I really dove deep into the habits of health for myself, but honestly, it was also more about my children. If I just looked at this one bad thing and how I can break it, or if I can work on this habit, then it's really going to change the dynamic and the trajectory of my family. And that was really, really important to me. What makes it most sustainable for us is that we don't take every habit and overhaul our whole life. I had a lifetime of bad habits that needed to be cleaned up. But if I had tried to overhaul my life in one fell swoop, it wouldn't have stuck. But because I took it one baby step at a time and one habit at a time, that's really what helped us stick to this. Long-term health is possible, but it is only possible through choosing healthy habits, one habit at a time.